In hindsight, I should have walked out that evening without looking back. The instant Mia humiliated me in front of her friends, I should have recognized it for what it truly was. Not a clumsy remark, not a bad joke, but a moment of clarity, a mask slipping off, the real her slipping through before she could cover it up again. She didn't value me, not as her boyfriend, not as a man, and definitely not as someone she respected. But I didn't leave, not right away. I stayed. I smiled like everything was fine. I laughed when they laughed. I let her think her little jab didn't touch me. I let her believe I was soft, passive, forgettable. That was her mistake. People like Mia only learn through consequences, and I was going to deliver one she'd never forget. The evening hadn't started badly. Mia had brought me along to a dinner party at her friend Jessica's place. One of those try-hard, semi-pretentious get-togethers full of overachievers eager to one-up each other, whose career was skyrocketing, whose vacation was more exclusive, whose life seemed more Instagrammable. I never felt at home at these events, but I tagged along because Mia had asked me to. Or at least I assumed that's why. For the first hour or so, things were unremarkable. Wine flowed freely, conversations buzzed from couch to kitchen, and the usual small talk about bonuses and new job titles filled the air. Then, at some point, somewhere between bottle number 2 and Jessica droning on about her awful Dubai trip, someone turned to me and casually asked, "So, what is it that Michael does again?" I barely reacted at first. I expected Mia to answer the way she normally did, something polite and vague. A safe, respectable response like, "He works in finance," or "He's with a corporate firm." Something neutral, something that let me retain a little dignity. But she didn't. Instead, she gave a smug grin, twirled her glass, and let out a soft, dismissive chuckle. "Oh, Michael, he just shuffles papers in a cramped little cubicle all day." Laughter erupted. Jessica gasped theatrically. "Wait, so he's basically like a secretary in a suit?" Mia cracked up. "Pretty much. He types reports and plays with Excel while the real players make things happen." My stomach dropped, not because of the words themselves, but because of the pleasure she took in saying them, the tone, the smirk, the way her friends eagerly soaked up her sarcasm, as if everything I'd worked for was a joke to them, to her. She didn't even flinch. That was the worst part. No hesitation, no second glance, just pure instinctive derision, as if this was how she'd always seen me. I could have called her out then and there. I could have turned the table and humiliated her in front of everyone. But I didn't. Instead, I gave a little laugh, took a slow sip from my glass, and leaned back casually. "Yeah," I said, steady as ever. "Just a boring desk job, nothing exciting." Mia glanced over, and I caught something flicker in her expression. Triumph, smug satisfaction, maybe both. Whatever it was, it made me feel sick. But I didn't let it show. I smiled like I didn't care, because in that moment, I already knew something she didn't. She had just set fire to everything we had. And soon, she'd realize just how big a mistake that was. That laugh of hers stuck with me long after the night ended. It wasn't just the insult. It was how effortlessly she delivered it. The gleam in her eye, the way her lips curled when she reduced my career to a punchline. It hit me then. I wasn't her partner. I was a placeholder, a convenient choice, someone reliable enough to take care of things, a steady man who'd foot the bill, organize practical vacations, be there in a pinch, someone she could lean on until someone better came along. So I made a decision. I was done. Not with fireworks or a shouting match. I wanted to leave in a way that would burn itself into her memory. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't even mention it. Instead, I kept playing my part, only better. I kissed her gently before bed. I asked about her day like nothing had happened. I cooked dinner. The following weekend, I even made a reservation at one of her favorite upscale restaurants. Because the one thing I needed most was for her not to see it coming. What Mia never cared to learn, What she never even thought to ask was that my entire career was on the verge of a massive shift. For the past half year, my company had been undergoing a major overhaul. A serious shakeup was underway, and I had been pulled into the inner circle, collaborating directly with top executives. That so-called dead-end cubicle job she mocked? It was about to evolve into an executive-level position, one with a huge pay bump and a cross-country relocation. I had known for weeks that I was the leading contender. Mr. Thompson, my boss, had practically spelled it out. "It's yours if you're ready, Michael." But I didn't tell Mia. I didn't share the news, didn't toast to my success, because I knew exactly what she'd do. The moment she realized I was becoming the kind of man she had always claimed to want, wealthy, successful, influential, she'd come crawling back. She'd fake admiration, she'd play nice, she'd tighten her grip. And I wasn't about to give her that chance. So I stayed quiet. I let her keep underestimating me. I let her make her own mistakes. Mia liked to think she was clever, that she could string me along quietly while lining up her next big thing. I noticed it not long after that dinner party. She was on her phone more, texting constantly, but rarely to me. She was working late without a trace of extra effort or output. And then she started bringing up a name, Liam. Liam was her shiny new coworker. Flashier than me, younger in sales, full of ego and ambition. The first time she mentioned him, it was innocent enough. "You'd like Liam. He's hilarious." The second mention came with a smirk. "Liam just bought a fully loaded sports car. It's insane." And then came the dagger. "You should take a page from Liam. He's really going places." I almost laughed. She thought she was being subtle, testing the waters, gauging my reaction. She believed she had time. Time to explore, to flirt, to figure out who she'd finally settle for. But what she didn't know was that my choice had already been made. I was finished. And in just a few short weeks, she'd wake up and realize I was already gone. The moment my promotion became official, I started planning my exit. But I didn't just vanish overnight. No, that would have been far too kind. I made sure Mia remained blissfully unaware until the very last moment. First, I untangled her from my finances. No more automatic payments for rent. No more utility transfers. I canceled every shared service. Spotify, Netflix, you name it. Quietly, I gave notice to my landlord that I'd be terminating the lease. But I didn't tell her. I stopped bringing up future plans. No talk of getaways or engagements. No dreaming out loud about the next big milestone. And most importantly, I began to pull away emotionally. Not enough to raise alarms, just enough to create a faint sense of unease. I let her think I was still the fallback guy, still waiting around in case she needed me. That way, when I disappeared, it would hurt all the more. A week before my move, Mia was comfortable. Too comfortable. She'd let her guard down completely. I overheard her on the phone with her friend Jessica, laughing. "Michael's sweet, but come on, he's not going anywhere." She genuinely believed she had me wrapped around her finger. She was still talking to Liam, still dangling between the two of us. But she hadn't taken the leap yet, because deep down, she thought I was a sure thing. A safety net. But what happens when you place all your bets on the wrong horse? You lose. And Mia was about to lose everything. That morning, she woke up without a clue that her world had already unraveled. She yawned, stretched, grabbed her phone, and started scrolling through social media. Just another lazy morning in the illusion of security she'd built for herself. Somewhere in the back of her mind, she probably still believed she had options, that she could keep me around just in case, while she tested the waters with Liam. If that didn't work out, she'd simply rope me back in. But she didn't know, couldn't know, that I had already removed myself from her equation, and that today was the day everything would fall apart. It started subtly. The first warning sign came from the most unexpected place. Her Uber app. She attempted to book a ride to the office, but the moment she tapped confirm payment, the screen glitched. Transaction declined. Her brows drew together. That was odd. Her card should still be active on the account, shouldn't it? She tried once more. Declined again. A flicker of irritation crossed her face. Probably just a bug. With a sigh, she swapped in her personal card instead. This time it worked, and the issue vanished from her mind as quickly as it came. Because that was Mia. Unbothered by small hiccups, unshaken by bumps in the road. She trusted that the details of her life would always sort themselves out. But this wasn't just a hiccup. This was the first sign of collapse. A silent warning that the structure was already beginning to crack. Still, Mia walked into her workplace feeling as composed as ever. No tension in her shoulders, no shadow of doubt in her mind. She genuinely believed her world was still neatly in place. And that was the irony of it. She didn't know what was about to hit her. She had no clue she was walking straight into the most humiliating moment of her life. At that moment, she made a choice. One she thought was daring. She'd swing by my office. Not out of longing, not because she regretted anything, but simply to confirm I was still orbiting around her, still within reach. She likely imagined she'd breeze in, flash a charming smile, maybe throw out a light. Hey, been thinking about us just to keep the embers warm. She thought she'd find the same old Michael. Instead, she walked into a nightmare. As she entered the towering office building, she bypassed the front desk with that practiced ease, the kind that comes from never having to answer for anything. She strode down the hall toward my department, but the moment she rounded the corner, she stopped cold. My desk was gone. Not messy, not mid-move, gone, cleared out completely. And in my place, a stranger tapping away at a keyboard. Mia blinked, confused. And then something hit her, a feeling she hadn't experienced in years. Panic. She scanned the area, desperate for context, for something familiar. Then she spotted Kevin, one of my old teammates. "Hey," she said, masking the tremor in her voice with a forced smile. "Where's Michael?" Kevin looked up, surprised. "Oh, he's not here anymore. Left last week." Her stomach dropped. "Left?" she repeated, the word catching in her throat. "What do you mean left?" Kevin gave a casual shrug. "He got promoted. Big new position. They relocated him. He's already out in the new branch." Mia froze in place. She felt the color drain from her cheeks. "No, this isn't real. Michael? Gone? Just like that? No warning, no heads up, not even a goodbye. That couldn't be right." She let out a weak laugh, shaking her head. No, that doesn't sound like him. He would have told me." Kevin raised an eyebrow, confused by her reaction. "I mean, he seemed pretty tied up with the transition. Maybe he didn't have time." And that's when it all landed. He hadn't told her on purpose. Michael had known for weeks, and he'd chosen silence. He'd let her keep thinking she was still in control, still calling the shots in a game she no longer had a say in. Now, he was gone. Without her. Without hesitation. Without offering her even a moment to stop him. Her heart began to race. She had to fix this. Immediately. Fumbling with her phone, she opened our message thread and typed quickly, "Hey, just stopped by your office. I didn't know you were moving. Can we talk?" Send. No reply. She stared at the screen. Waited. Nothing. Minutes slipped by. She tried calling. Straight to voicemail. That's when her fingers started trembling, because for the first time, Mia understood what it meant to be shut out. She spiraled for the next 2 hours. More texts. "Michael, please, call me. I need to talk to you." Still no response. Then came the anger. She convinced herself it was a misunderstanding. Surely I wouldn't just disappear like that. Surely I'd offer her some explanation. But then, her phone buzzed. One message, from me. "Don't worry, Mia. I found a better opportunity. You understand, right?" Her breath caught in her throat, because she knew exactly what I meant. I had just used her own words against her, and I didn't just walk away. I erased her. She tried calling again. straight to voicemail. Then came another message. Michael, please don't do this. But deep down, she already knew. I was gone for good. And this time I wasn't turning back. Mia had always believed that words could save her. She'd glided through life on charm, looks, and this uncanny ability to make people believe they couldn't live without her. She never really faced consequences, not real ones. But that morning, reading the last message I ever sent her, something finally clicked. Her stomach twisted. There would be no undoing this. No perfect apology, no calculated tears, no sweet-talking her way out. This time she had pushed too far, and she had nothing left to gamble. In the days that followed, she unraveled. It started with rage. I could see it in my head, her storming through her apartment, flinging her phone across the room, muttering curses under her breath. She probably told herself I was being irrational, that I'd come crawling back once I'd cooled off. She thought if she played it right, she could still steer the situation. All she had to do was rally support, stack the deck in her favor. So she reached out to her circle. But instead of sympathy, she got a dose of reality she wasn't ready for. Mia had always ruled her friend group. She was the one people envied. The girl with the picture-perfect relationship and the future everyone assumed was locked in. But now she was just another story. Another girl who got left behind. She called Jessica first. "You won't believe what Michael just did," she said. Jessica let out a tired sigh. "What? He finally left you?" Mia's breath caught. "What?" Jessica didn't hold back. "Come on, Mia. Everyone saw this coming except you. You treated him like crap for years. Guess he finally figured it out." Mia went silent. She tried to defend herself, to twist the narrative, but Jessica wasn't biting. Next, she called Claire. The response was even colder. "Mia, why are you acting shocked? You treated him like he was disposable. He did what anyone with self-respect would have done." Mia sat staring at her phone, hands trembling. For the first time, the story wasn't hers to control. Her friends weren't running to her defense. They were speaking the kind of truths she had dished out to others so many times. And now it was her turn to feel small. That's when it hit her. Hard. Her status? It had never been about her. It was about me. She wasn't the dazzling personality or the career-driven success story. She was the woman with the solid, successful fiancé. The moment I walked away, there was nothing left for her to flaunt, and people noticed. One by one, they began to fade from her life. Mia was only magnetic when she was winning, and now she was losing, badly. By the week's end, everything she leaned on had crumbled. Liam, the guy she used to flirt with when she got bored, had moved on. Now that she wasn't taken, no longer the challenge, she lost her appeal. Her messages to friends went unanswered. They had moved on too. She started to realize she had no career, no savings, nothing she had built for herself. For years, she'd coasted on the future I was creating. She had no backup plan. She had never been truly alone before. And now, that solitude felt like a prison. So she did the only thing she knew how to do. She tried to come crawling back. The first message came quietly. "Hey, I miss you." I ignored it. A few hours later, another. "Michael, please. I messed everything up. Can we just talk?" I left her on red. Then the calls started. I didn't answer the first one, or the second, or the third. By the time morning rolled around, I woke to 32 missed calls. But I felt nothing, because I knew what she was actually missing, and it wasn't me. It was the life I gave her. That life was gone. By the third day, her messages slowed to a trickle. And then, just one final text. "Michael, I don't want anything from you. I just need to hear your voice. Just once." I looked at it, sat with it for a second, then deleted it. No reply, no explanation, just silence. Because for years, Mia looked at me like I was a safety net. Something reliable, something replaceable. someone she could always fall back on. But now the roles were reversed. Now she was the one left in the dust, watching me move on. And me? I was already long gone.